the time! No time to take it! He's gonna hold it down! This dog barks and it bites! Up against one, and he gets it! Mo! You beautiful monster!
Welcome everyone to the first game of playoffs of Stage 2 of Polaris. I'm Janiro, your host, and joining me are still going to be MP and Moxie. They're here on the desk with me, MP proclaiming himself to be the only cool kid on desk, hence the fashion choices regardless of the heat. But without further ado, let's forget about those fashion choices and let's start talking about Excel, because they have made some interesting choices as well in regards to their roster. A couple of changes that we spoke about, MP. And yes, last time they were able to walk away with the win. This time they're qualifying as first seed. But if anything that we saw from Stage 1, qualifying as first seed does not necessarily mean you're going to be walking away with the win.
Yeah, absolutely not. And I mean, I want to talk about Excel's last season run. Yeah, they got to playoffs, but I don't think at any point they were the clear favorites. Obviously, there was Alliance and 10 Star who were really, really good. And then you have Tundra as well. So Excel, they had really, really tough competition. This time around, I think it's different. Excel, I think they are clear favorites in my mind to win this. This could be a huge jinx like we did on Alliance last time around. But I think Excel right now, they're looking so much better than last season. I think they have improved tremendously. And the picks that they have brought in have, I think, improved their roster so much better. Mo was the one that we focused last season. Not anymore. He's not the highlight reel. It's not the Mo highlight reel. There has been popping off. Alive, Patitech, all the other players have been popping off. And Mo doesn't have to do that much work as initiator, as the support player, which is great for Mo and great for the team. But Mo still, right here, he still has a little bit of those highlight reels. If he's given the chance, he can absolutely pop off, win those clutches.
Yeah, I think that's what's so terrifying about the entirety of this team, because every single time we see one of these players outnumbered in a fight and you think, okay, there's no way they're winning this round. Somehow they're able to pull it out of the bag and do just that. So you really can never count this team out unless that spike, unless that round has already ticked over into that next.
Yeah, and one of the things I want to point out as well is this team is so united. Like, when you look at cast, kill, assist, survive, and trades, literally every single one of these players are in the top 11 of kill, assist, survive, and trades of these playoffs. There's 40 players, and every single one of these are in the top 11, which is huge. It means that they're playing so much together. Obviously, they have this occasional alive going through defensive side picks and all that, but tells so much about the utility usage that comes in from Excel. They support these players, they survive, they trade really well, and that is one of the key parts of fundamentals. You have to be able to trade.
Yeah, Excel are rostered at every single one individually. They're absolutely cracked at what they do. They know exactly how they want to play. They're very much used to each other. They're even on boot camp right now, trying to get a little bit of an advantage in. But we highlighted Patitech already. We said every single one of these players have that clutch factor to them. They have that ability to close out games. But who do you think should we really be focusing on in this game specifically against KOVA?
I'm gonna say Chihuahua.
Okay.
Because we haven't really got to talk about him that much, and there's a specific reason for that. Chihuahua is like the ghost player. You never really know where he is until he pops up and bites you. It's exactly what he does. It's his signature move, right? Every single time you ask the question, where could Chihuahua... Oh, there he is, coming up in the kill feed with a 2K.
Yeah, he's always on a trip, but we can hear it from the players themselves as we have an interview with Excel lined up. Guys, do your thing.
Hello, it's me, Patryk Pajtek-Fabrowski. I'm a second duelist and flasher for Team Excel.
Hello, my name is FoxyGG and IGL for Excel.
I think definitely my clutch versus KOVA, the one before I pulled off. I think that was like personally my favorite moment. But I think like besides that, the finals game, because we got a lot out of it and we fixed a lot of mistakes based off of that match, so it really helped us.
On my team, I would have to say like Patitech. I think he's done an amazing job. He was the person that I least expected from, like, because I already knew he was good, so... But yeah, he's definitely done more than what I thought he was capable of.
My MVP would be my teammate Alive. I think like he's the best player in the league, but not in the league. I would say like he's close to be like the best upcoming talent.
A real IGL, a good coach, just a good team structure in general. The way in which we work, the way we practice, the way everything we do really is just probably a lot more professional than the rest of the league.
Our coaching staff is amazing, and I think they're like the best in the league, and if not the best in the world, I would say. I think just because we're the strongest team, like everyone from our team thinks we're the strongest team, and I think we've shown some of that in stage 2. Hopefully we can show it in playoffs and be even better than we are right now.
The confidence, the work, this work ethic, just the fact that they said, yes, we lost to them, but it gave us that opportunity to fix a lot of our mistakes. They're continuously looking to improve, but is it going to be enough to be playing against KOVA, the team that actually hasn't changed anything?
Yeah, I think KOVA definitely has an advantage on that point. They have the synergy already really built up there, but I think KOVA has shown a lot of inconsistency in their game. They have these really good highlights, really good moments. You have Ale popping off, and one thing that I would love to see right in this game is Ale going more for that duelist. Ale, I think, is the star for this team. Shed definitely has his moments. Definitely, don't like count him out, but Ale has been seen popping off. He has obviously played that duelist role before, but lately more on that support, which I think really doesn't allow Ale to shine that much, and that duelist role I think would be really good.
Yeah, I find it really ironic for KOVA that they're the team who physically, when you look at their roster, have changed the least. But with the compositions that they come out with, they're the team that changed the most. And I think, for me, that's sort of sometimes a real problem, because even though we see different compositions coming through from maybe specific agents, sometimes we see the Fade, sometimes we don't see the Fade, sometimes we see the Astra. At the end of the day, it's still the same tactic, it's still the same game plan. And I think the map where that becomes most apparent is Haven. And you look at how they were attacking with Excel and how they were actually defending up against human tripwires. Both times we see two different compositions come through, both times center on Shed's Neon, and both times mean that their defense really hinges on aggressive defense at the very start of the round in a lobby. And it worked for our first couple of rounds, and then the team started going, wait, we've seen this so many times, we know exactly what you're going to do, and you're going to have two players committed to one part of this map, using two amounts of utilities, and we can just stand back and let you burn all of that out of your own pocket.
Yeah, I think that's more of Excel being really good at reading these players. I think that is definitely one of the part that Excel has the strongest, I think strongest side. They have the coaches, they have Foxy, who is really good reading, and the timeouts they call, I think they're exceptionally good.
Yeah, well, we're going to be able to hear from the players themselves if we, again, have an interview with KOVA, just to see what their thoughts are.
Hi, my name is Jesmund. I'm the IGL and captain for Team KOVA.
My name is Hampus, and I go by the nickname Supma, and I'm a controller player for KOVA.
I would say beating Alliance and qualifying for playoffs, that was huge for us, and also beating Finest, it always feels good to beat Yasin and Bonkar.
We have kinda dropped any specific playstyle or roles in the team, so we're kind of picking on comfort right now, and I think will become really unpredictable to play against.
I think we have found a good way to play the game, and everyone is feeling comfortable.
Alle, maybe. I think he has stepped up a lot, and he's been fragging really hard.
I also would say Ale, because I talked about him like having a rough split last season, but he has stepped a lot, and now he's looking really scary.
Beating Finest, it's a very good team, and it was a very important win for us as well. We only qualified by one win, so at the end every win was important, and I felt like Finest is one of the better teams, so it was satisfying to win them.
Individually picking up Astra and actually mastering a new agent that I can play against good teams also. I think it comes down to changing up a plan, like every opponent we're playing against, and I think we're just gonna be like tough matchup to play against, because the way we can adapt in game and like outside game also.
Comfort, adaptability, predictability. 3 words that we heard in this interview specifically, but is any of it gonna be enough to be dealing with the top seed of Polaris? We can have a look at the head-to-head of some of the players that we can be expecting to frag out. We got Alive and Shed on that head-to-head graphic to have a look at. MP, this was one that you were very excited to be talking about. Walk us through it.
I think this shows a lot of the different variation that you can play this duelist role. Obviously, Jet and Chamber are kind of comfort picks for both of these players. Jet doesn't really want to go that much on the Chamber because he doesn't like playing the operator, and I think this, especially the plays where Alive thrives, but still look at those first blood percentage. Shed isn't losing to Alive. Shed is actually winning against Alive, which means Shed is really aggressive on that attacking side, getting those first bloods, getting the space for his team, getting space for KOVA, getting that information and those frags on the side, which is really important for KOVA. I think that even Ale, if he goes on the duelist role and Shed plays like Chamber or something, that is definitely KOVA needs. Alive going for more of those operator picks, more of that passive play style, likes to play Chamber a lot.
Yeah, Chamber is just one of those must picks at the moment, in my opinion, on every single map. Not only because he allows a lot more in terms of your economy, the fact that you don't have to, if you're on an eco buy into a pistol, you do have that Headhunter, and you even have the Tour de Force, which can win rounds on its own. We've seen rounds where entire teams have just bought Sheriffs. The Chamber's popped the ultimate, and has just been able to carry it with that one alone. And not only that, you can also do everything the Jet does alone. You're not burning out your team's resources. You are still going to be able to set yourselves up to enter onto the side if that Jet entrance goes down.
Yeah, and Alive is one of the biggest parts of Excel's second round wins, or they have a lot of these second rounds that Excel actually lose the pistol but win on the second round, which is interesting. They have 40% second round win rate after losing pistol, and Alive is to thank for it. The Chamber, Headhunter, also getting those Seraph players, Patitek, rest of the team around Alive as well, getting few Seraphs there, allows them to get those second round wins. They don't have the best pistol round win percentage, with 53%, but that second round conversion, I think, pays for it really, really well.
Not only are the pistol rounds, the agents, and the aggression from these individual players important, it's also important to look at the maps that these teams feel comfortable on. When we're looking at KOVA Moxie, they have lost to Heat, they've lost to Excel, they've lost to Hukars on a variety of maps. We even said Split might be one of those maps that teams are no longer feeling the need to really invest in. Which maps do you think KOVA could potentially be picking here to maybe get a bit of an advantage over Excel?
I mean, straight away, you would definitely think of things like Icebox, but the fact that they don't really like running that chamber, you do want to take that one out. I think we're going to see them try and go to Haven, because even though they actually lost against Excel when they did play on that map, it went to overtime. And not 12. No, it was 17-19. Absolute massive slogs of overtime coming on through. And if there's any map where KOVA really can find that aggression that they're looking to enable Shed with, it is Haven, not just on their attacks, but also on their defenses. The second that they start on defense on Haven and those gates drop, he's just in there. You blink and suddenly Shed is in lobby looking for that first blood.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to see KOVA going for more of these double duelist maps, maybe going for a Breeze where you can bring up that Chamber. Obviously, Chamber isn't duelist, but pseudo-duelist. So I think they can probably bring Ale on the duelist, bring Shed on the Chamber. So I think that's going to be probably the approach. We could still see like Haven or Split. They're definitely comfort picks for these teams. They can absolutely go for it. But I think there might be a ban on Split for KOVA. Obviously, they have played it 4 times in this season, but Excel is just looking so strong on that map. I don't think that's a chance.
Yeah, Split specifically, one of those maps that KOVA had already lost to Excel, 4-13. You're absolutely correct, Moxie. Yes, that first map that they played, 17-19. And it kind of brings into question whether or not KOVA has that stamina to play every single one of these maps out to perfection. And we said it yourself, you have kind of one shot. If you would come through the upper bracket, you have that one map advantage. If you go into that lower bracket, it's a little bit scary. It's like the doghouse that you may not want to be in. So are you expecting Split to just be completely taken off of the table instead? Do you think that KOVA as well have to hit the ground running, start it off with a clean 2-0 if they want to not even go to overtime if they want to win?
Yeah, I mean, I would say Split has to be banned out immediately. That needs to be the first map that KOVA remove, because we said, okay, KOVA have played Split a couple of times. Excel has played it 5 out of 7, and they are just looking extremely dominant because they like running not just double duelist, but triple pseudo duelist. They have the Raze, the Reyna, and the Chamber coming on through, and it's absolutely brutal because even when you go onto the defense, they get to be so aggressive. They can have 2 players anchor, one on A, one on B, and then then you've got another duelist to play bouncer on mid, which means that there's just no ground for any of these attacking teams to be able to grab. And so even if you don't win the round, sometimes you're not even able to secure picks, which means your economy is never going to recover.
Yeah.
I think this definitely, the split composition is definitely that shouldn't work. It's just ridiculous. But I think Excel plays it really well. They have this kind of 3-2 setup. They play 3 players on A, 2 players kind of mid-B area, which is really, really interesting. And I would love to see split. I think that is definitely a map I would like to see, but I think KOVA is going to go for the ban. And I think for Excel, winning the split is solely on the firepower that the team has. It's crazy the amount of firepower. Even when Element and Ozzy was on the team, it was really crazy, but this is even better now.
You know what, guys? I'm going to show you something crazy myself. It's called Broadcast Magic, and we have the map vetoes ready. You guys will no longer have to guess what maps we're going to be going to, because it's actually going to be popping up right behind us. And we have the map selection: Breeze, Icebox, and Ascent. Moxie, you're dead right. Split is that first map that gets banned out by KOVA. Breeze, Icebox, Ascent, we said this is what we expected. Who do you think the first map is going to be swaying towards, MP?
I think this Breeze, KOVA pick, I was saying that they should probably go on this Breeze. They can have probably that Chamber, can have that second duelist. Obviously, they have been running the Chamber and Jet. So I think they are going for this map because Ale wants more freedom maybe on his role. So I think Breeze could definitely be a map that Excel might not be ready for. But Excel has had so good track record on Breeze. I think they dominated like human tripwires 13-2. Patitech was just on fire. So it's kind of 50-50. Excel, if they get that chance instantly for the ball rolling, I think they definitely have a chance to strike there.
I worry, though, for those 2 last maps. Icebox is going to be really strongly in Excel's favor. We've talked about how strong a Chamber Alive is. And then you roll over onto Ascent. And there's only really one map that Excel has played the newest Agent Fade. And it has been on Ascent, because some of those early setups that you can get, similar to how we see those Sovas use the shock dots and the recon bolts when they're defending the B site, getting it through great so it connects into main. You can do that with the Cs. And it's absolutely terrifying, because you pair that up with something like a Killjoy coming with those nano swarms, or worse, the Rays and the paint shells. You can't escape it unless you're running that chamber, something that we see KOVA being pretty averse to.
Yeah, I don't really like this Ascent pick usually for KOVA. I don't think they are really good at it. They lost to Heat with 4th team, but you heard it on the interview. They had kind of scrapped their roles, scrapped all of those really like methodical approaches, and they are going for more of default, more free style. So I think Ascent for that playstyle, it fits them perfectly. I think still Excel is in a really good position coming in the map, but I think that is probably the best pick KOVA could have had for the decider map.
Yeah, and Excel also likes to pick quite a specific amount of agents. They're really comfortable on having Foxy on the Omen. They like the Sova pick for Mo as well. Patitech kind of flexing around in the chamber, as we mentioned, for Alive. So let's have a look at the pick percentages for these agents specifically and how they are going to be influencing that playstyle.
Yeah, Excel going to be coming in. No surprises that Cypher is actually one of their most picked agents coming on through. We talked about having to worry about Chihuahua being on those flanks, and there is just the one agent you do have to worry about going on those flanks. It is the Cypher play, being able to use those trapwise, having those cages as well to disguise where you're going to be moving, can bait out a lot of utility, can even bait out players' positions. It means that you have not a lot left in the pocket if you do want to challenge some of these tighter spaces.
Yeah, this statistic has last season as well, so that's why you don't see the chamber coming in there. You don't see maybe these new agents. Obviously, they haven't been playing that Fade either, which is something that I really want to highlight here. Excel said that they really like this Cypher Sova Jet composition. They don't really like to go for the Fade. They see a lot of teams going for the Fade, but then having to force a race somewhere. So I think that is definitely a spot where they could maybe go with Patitech, but it's something that they do not want to go. They don't want to take that race and Fade. They feel that the Sova Cypher Jet is more reliable for them.
Yeah, and KOVA, again, on the other hand, they also have specific agents that they're comfortable with. They said they're going to be going back into comfort, that we shouldn't be expecting them to be playing exactly the way as they did before. But that Astra was such a big part of their compositions.
Yeah, I mean, we always see it on really big, wide maps coming on through, so they can have a lot of control without necessarily needing to be in that space. And a lot of it does come down to setting up for their duelist, using those grav wells, controlling the spaces, making sure that you have time to be able to get these rotations off so that you can actually meet them and set up crossfires, which is potentially going to be countered by the fact that there is a KO on the other side coming on through, which is always really concerning when you're coming up against Patatech. Even if you have a crossfire, even if you can use those grav walls to buy yourself the time for the rotations, a good, well-placed flash drive and a paranoia off of the back of it means that all of that setup just falls into pieces.
Yeah, I want to point out this Viper. Obviously, this Viper 56% means that when they are coming to Icebox and Breeze, which are the first two maps, is Viper is really a comfort pick for them. It doesn't matter. They like to play Viper. They like to play these maps where Viper is played. Even in Split, they used to play Viper, obviously against Human Tripwires. They took that Raze and Reyna because they wanted to play alive on the duelist as well. But they usually have they usually have had this Viper or these Viper maps as their preference. Bind, Icebox, Breeze, even Split. And I would love to see how they're gonna do, or I mean, I'm gonna see how they're gonna do. Obviously, they're gonna play Viper, or are they?
Or are they? Moxie, do you expect potentially that there could be a Faye thrown in the mix? Maybe even a Neon, considering how much we heard the word adaptability and changes coming out from these teams.
I mean, maybe we see a Neon. You think about Icebox and attacking and how there is an entire strategy around the Sage just getting that wall up super fast onto the B side. Maybe we get to see Neon integrated into that. But coming into Breeze, I think it's probably just going to be relying off of that Viper to come on through, make sure that you cross off those massive, horrible long line of sights that you have to really soldier through if you want to be able to get all 5 of your players safely onto site.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things we could maybe see, but I don't think we're going to see, maybe that double controller on Breeze. That is something that some of these teams have implemented, but I think they want to go for more of this alley, going for a duelist shed, maybe playing chamber, another duelist. I think they want to go for that firepower, surprise Excel completely. And I think just strats, they're thrown out of the window. Obviously, you have some set plays, but like they said, it's not important to them right now.
What if I told you that what is important right now is going to be the agent select, and that it's actually ready as well? We have it available, so we'll be able to tell which agents these teams are going to be comfortable playing with, which agents these teams want to go with. We've already had a look at the percentages that they have, but now we're going to be able to actually finally see for ourselves what agents are going to be selected onto which map. And as we wait for that graphic to show up, I want to reiterate that pressure onto mid from that we've seen from XL back in stage 1. They were very comfortable having Patatech on that KO, flashing out the Jet and going for that early aggression. Is that something, Moxie, that you're expecting to see once again from XL? Maybe even from KOVA, considering that they did say that changes are going to be coming in.
Yeah, honestly, one of the things that really makes XL a fearsome team is that they have this really wonderful synergy with that KO and the Omen. No matter what map we really see it coming out on, they're always really able to set up these snares, these traps that just catch attacking players as they walk on through. They see, oh, there's an Omen or there's a KO, and they start to move for it.
Let's go.
There's a Viper!
It's over!
You can't see it, but I can right there. It is. There's Viper and Sova. Yeah, pretty basic right here. But yeah, I think coming in the Breeze, the mid control, and actually both mid and Breeze and Icebox, I think mid control is going to be a crucial part for both of these teams. XL, like you said, they're going to be really aggressive. I love how they played, especially against Human Tripwires on Breeze. They were so aggressive instantly when they got the confidence. Human Tripwires were gone. There was no chance. I think it was even round 7 when I was like, yeah, there's not a chance they're going to win this match. XL, if they can get that ball rolling, if they can get those aggressive pushes that I usually push for Breeze, you have to go for aggressive pushes. You have to go for that information play in A and B main, even in mid as well.
Yeah, we're going to be heading to a break very quickly, as we'll be back shortly, so don't go anywhere because the first game of playoffs is about to start. Thank you, everyone, and welcome back. Apologies for the tech issues. We're here and we're ready to go with the agent select. So let's have a look this time around at which agents both of these teams are going to be comfortable playing. I'm going to be starting off with you, MP. That's a Reyna.
Oh, damn! Yeah, Reyna coming in. Fade also in Mo. That is crazy switch. I wasn't expecting Exo to bring up Fade in this map instead of the Sova, but they go for it. I want to see what they have prepared here, but the Reyna pick. Obviously, I was telling that they might go for the second duelist as well.
Yeah, I mean, KOVA are actually going for sort of triple pseudo-duelist if you include that chamber as well. So it's very the style that Excel and KOVA would actually use on Split, where they're just trying to go for a lot of map control, a lot of space.
Yeah, for the opening act, we got the casters, Pavlos, who no longer identifies as ex-warrior, which makes him ex-ex-warrior, as well as Neokai. They're going to be walking you through this first game. Gentlemen, take it away.
That we will, Ginny. Thank you very much for that introduction. You heard correctly. I am standing here with Neo to shoutcast the first game of the playoffs. Excel versus KOVA. It's going to be a banger, man.
Oh, damn. It feels good to be back. It feels good to be back on Polaris. And we've got a banging games Kickstarters here. Excel taking on KOVA. We've also the agents. We've got a couple of conversations on the desk. It's an interesting selection going through here.
It very much is.
A couple of questionable ones in my eyes, but I'm really interested to see how this one plays out. This, for me, is the win factor for KOVA. If they even want to compete here in this series and not get swept completely by Excel, it's all down to map swap.
And straight out of the bat, you see KOVA taking a lot of mid control. It's obvious that you want to have Yesmond on that lurking angle towards a left extremity, but they're even taking it further already, aggressing to the top of mid. Alive finding the first pick. They've already wrapped around through the A main area, and they've taken full control of them. That is perfect. Excel getting every trade going their way. Vicious the only player to get something out for his team, but they're shut down in a matter of seconds.
Oh, take a bow. I mean, that is brilliant. It's so easy for Excel. Early bit of mid-control, and it's so simple off the back of that, and the smallest mistakes that come from that, it leaves to KOVA being completely exposed. It's so simple, yet so effective. And now we really have to start asking a couple of questions about KOVA on that attacking side, because the idea was there. Go for that upper brackets control, try and wrap through in towards mid. They don't expect someone to be so aggressive from XL, and it's so simple.
Yeah, and I love the idea of KOVA. You know, they wanted to go for something super aggressive. They wanted to push through mid and get some work done over there. But, I mean, Excel perfectly anti-stratted, found themselves space, and just took over. So very nice to see. Alive! He's alive, but his opponent isn't. Shed die straight out of their bat as KOVA look to open things up towards the A site. Sheriff play at their feet, of course. In their hands, the weapons they would hold, but obviously not too much to work with. A little bit of a light fly overall. Do send over the toxic screen there and keep Excel busy. No faking shenanigans this time around.
Yeah, a little bit of a maneuver over towards B as well. Potentially could start to test those waters. And actually they are. They're going to rotate that spike back over towards B. And I think they're kind of relying on the fact that there's no immediate presence over towards main. No one's really shown face, but they don't expect so much utility to be set up for the time being. And of course, they still got to take down Alive. He showed his face earlier, and he stood his ground.
Yeah, now you can see KOVA sort of moving in, wrapping around towards the left side of this map. They will be entering the B site, but it looks like full mid-control adaptation from Excel. Look at that. Quickly getting themselves space into mid, but they're looking to enter into the B site.
Alive now as well. Chihuahua being the first point of contact. Looking for one, but he gets dropped by Vicious. That's important. It's opened up that B site, and now we've got a lot of questions about how they're going to be able to retake this. Spike down, post plant set up, and as Arle finds yet one more. This is now looking dicey for Excel. They're left with just 3 on this retake. Numbers not favouring them. Pavlos, I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's very concerning at this point, isn't it? KOVA left with 4, and it's that more than Excel had, but it's quickly switched up around. Be concerned no more. Excel switch up the script at Supma all by himself, but for not too long, Excel take him down and get the spike defusal as well.
Oh, I've got to say, I was slightly concerned there. Numbers not looking too good for Excel, but of course the firepower was, and that's what matters most for them. Now that they were able to find that retake, they keep the, I guess the momentum in their court. Now's the true test. The spike down for KOVA will be that full buy coming out towards round number 3, and this is where we can start having a conversation about realistically how we expect Excel to be able to play in terms of now on the defender side, where they're actually going to be tested. That's the round on paper. You can pretty much say that's only going to go one way, and it is now being tested.
There are some heavy shooters on the KOVA side, right? And that's what you really want to come and see alive and to kind of battle for Excel on all these positions. A little bit of the ultimate usage now coming in towards the Vicious side. He's getting ever closer to it, but overall Excel being able to use the more aggressive ultimates might be more important. But the weapons coming to play, and that's important.
Really a bit of a rough buy, safe to say. And of course, Fish is already good for one himself. With Foxy falling the IGL out for the count, things looking a little bit on the dicier side. Excel down to 4.
That's going to really hinder the defensive capabilities. You can see already wrapping around, dedicating awful players towards the right-hand side of the map. And Yesmond, he could be there to clear it out. Obviously, a trap does allude to the idea. Zuma pushing in mid, and that quickly puts them on top. Vicious wants to double it up. Paddy Tech looking to hold on, but he needs to be careful. Player in mid as well as main quickly shut him down. Only Chihuahua to remain in this particular matchup. He's found himself a Vandal to work with, but up against 4. You know he's the clutch meister, but honestly, too tough.
Yeah, I think that's asking a little bit too much, isn't it? I mean, he has got to do something special here. Not to find anything. Tapping away, and he gets dropped that range. Arley will clean things up. First round on the board for KOVA, and of course now a first sort of insight into actually what they can bring on their attacking side here and Breeze. That's a really decent showing. 4 remaining alive. We can start to have a conversation about how XL were quite quickly caught in transition, and because of that, when the numbers didn't favor them, that's when they seriously struggled. And this could be a story that we have to really consider looking into towards map number 1, right? XL, the second they lost that man advantage, went down to a 4 versus 5. They were spread so thin that they couldn't securely lock down a site.
No, they really couldn't. So Excel do take a bit of time to kind of reconfigure here. Obviously now with Alive having the blades available, he'll hand over a weapon that he would otherwise would have held. But Excel are looking to push forwards here. Paddy Tech moving across, that's the first. Alive ends up getting the first pick, and that's how Excel want to start things off. They managed to get away with 1 pick and not lose any players.
Simple, effective as well. Early information, early kill, and now they can take that step away. That is a dream start for Excel, and all they have to do now is play the numbers game.
They do indeed. Ale, quick shot, bring KOVA right back up. That could open up the A mid side, especially considering how far across they are. Did Alive just do that?
Brilliant.
No way.
I love it. Oh, no.
Oh, come on! You're just toying with them, Alive! And he wants to go in for more. Dash in, Vicious. The Viper's Pit bug still there. But let's see what else he could do. 2 on 4. But Alive, that was magnificent. Honestly, that's got to be daunting. 2 different positions for the 2 players of KOVA, and it's Sukma now moving in from mid, and Alive has got it all telegraphed. He does indeed. It's Mo to do it. Doesn't need to be Alive. Vicious will try to make something happen out of this, but Alive says a big no to that and puts him to his grave.
Oh, what a round. I mean, individual brilliance on him. All he has to do is isolate those fights. It's so simple, yet so effective. The second the Bladestorm comes out, it's a done story. Alive. That was textbook. Really, really stellar job from him. Just isolating those fights that we spoke about at range as well. Couple of up drops, couple of knives off the back of a Bladestorm, and Bob's your uncle. XL up 2-3. That 2-round gap extended once again. And once again, we can start having a conversation about how XL played that really well on the defender side. The similar thing about over towards KOVA that we saw in the pistol round is for them, they get so tunnel vision into a site and they struggle to rotate away once that idea is done.
Now we enter a different frontier, a brand new one. Excel, after feeling so comfortable.
You want to play? Let's play.
KOVA have been shut down as well the previous one. It's a bit tough, isn't it? But they still do have weapons to work with. Tour de Force making its presence. Empress available for Ale. But it's a slow start for KOVA. They try to go for something aggressive initially, but that quickly got shut down from Excel. And I'm pretty sure they're afraid that will happen again.
Exactly that. They're just slowing that tempo down, and they need to as well. I mean, for the time being, play things on the more slightly slower side and try and find something in their favor. But less than a minute to work with. They need to be careful not to leave this one, you know, the standard question of too little, too late.
All right, Ali opens things up. Shed wants to double it up, but still, it's slow progression. A site taken over, yes, but when Alive's there with the operator, you need to take care. Updraft, concealing his angle, but it needs to be careful of both right and left angles, but it's Sukma there to stop him. We're down to a 2-on-3. What KOVA can do, 2-on-2, excuse me. Excel.
30 seconds left.
Chihuahua. Holding it back. Oh, the timing! And Yesman's got the side angle. All of a sudden, it's all unfolding in favor of KOVA. And with the spike planted as well, they'll get this round done and dusted.
Yeah, I mean, that was really unfortunate. It was kind of for XL, the last two remaining alive, both got spotted towards up, and it was such a standard case of all KOVA had to do was set that post bomb up for them. Set them up for that kind of elevated angle, or that angle from range that we saw with the Tour de Force. So simple, yet so effective. And the second kind of alive dropped out there, it meant that at range, it was always going to go in favor of KOVA. All something had to do was take that little bit more of a passive approach and hold down the long angles. He knew alive was the only one who could really contest him, and he couldn't. Now we're up to that one-round advantage where XL, the pressure really started to mount, especially with this buy.
Yeah, this is the first game of playoffs, right? You want to get started strong on a good note. Want to be on the upper bracket, not really drop so quickly. Patty Tech, you know him for his sheriff plays. He's a new cowboy in town, Ali. Want to make sure that Mo is no more, but being challenged, Chihuahua going so greedy with that position. But you've got to respect it. You've got to respect the full spies of Excel.
Yeah, I like the idea. I normally call that position, you know, a classic one and done, and he should have found the one and run away, but no, he tried to double it down, gets paid the price for it. Alive's going to fall as well towards sight. I think this one might be this final story, unless Foxy can pull off something monumental.
If Foxy falls, this round is over.
Of course.
Foxy, he's going to give it a go. The IGL of the team.
Toxin screen
Is he
down.
able to pull it off? Oh, he spotted out with Barrel. But he needs to be careful because the rest of KOVA are just heading towards the B site. All Supermo is a mere distraction. He's taking the attention of both Excel players. He falls, which makes this round palatable.
Yeah, I mean, there's a world in which this works, but that's a really good job from him individually. All something I had to do was draw that attention away. So simple, and of course, more importantly, over towards XL, they've taken quite a considerable amount of damage. I mean, Patek has so little HP left for him to work with.
He's bleeding.
Foxy not looking too great either. I mean, this one already looking dicey. And such a passive post plant too, it's brilliant.
There's nothing for them to lose unless they do find some Vandals to save, which they do. Foxy ends up falling. Patty Tech, 12 points of health. Pretty much looking at a dream right now and realizes dreams are as such because they are unreachable, and once he is pinched, realizes I feel no pain.
Yeah, he's falling away, right? Keep hold of that Vandal. It's a silver lining in a bad situation, but again, a really nice round. And this is why I asked of KOVA. I said this earlier. They get tunnel vision. They're very, very quick to make those early judgment calls of, right, let's commit to the A site, or let's commit to the B site, and not really kind of have that conversation internally of, right, let's attempt to rotate. And that's what they did so brilliant there. Sotma held down the ground to drag attention away, but the rotation left into a free B site. And what we've seen a couple of times now as well, from XL, there's been a couple of early rotations away from B, and I think that's going to be a big crutch to them. If they continuously do that early rotate to commit towards out of the A site, I think KOVA are going to read into them.
They very much could. KOVA should be happy they've equalized the scoreline now. Getting a little bit more comfortable. Bai's getting a bit more shaky on the Excel side. You can see half shields coming across, but ultimates coming alive essentially. 3 on their side, high impact ones as well. Patty Tech with a null, you can expect that as a take. He's actually going in super fast with a standard Viper's mid smoke alive, opening things up on the far extremity, but you don't expect Patty Tech so close. He needs to be a little bit careful here. Excel have got the numbers. Don't overstep.
So far, play the numbers game. All they have to do is play for the trades. The mid aggression's brilliant. Lock things down. The Aldrin going to look for a bit of information. Patek will fall away. It's also simple. Now B side a little bit exposed, but the rotation coming through, and there's the Hunter's Fury.
That's massive, right? Patty Tech was causing so much trouble in mid, but they now can either move towards the A site or take control over the middle area. But they do neither, at least for now. Carrying out elbow duties. They've got 50 seconds to work with. And it seems they may take the fancy towards a double doors route.
This is slow. And if they catch one in transition, this turns the tide. In comes that recon. Don't spot too much for the time being. What, of course, Summer will be spotted out, and he is dicing his way away.
Superman's position, such an obfuscation. But Foxy's got a good lineup here. Of course, Toxic Screen will manage to conceal their angle. Foxy, oh, he spotted out ahead. Oh, but he misses the shot. That cannot happen. And now KOVA, based on a really good scenario, Chihuahua falls. End it here, Mo.
Save,
right? I mean, he's alone, Mo, right? I don't really want to see him save, but realistically, he probably should.
The economy's not looking too great. I mean, he's only got 100 to work with so far, trying to take a couple of taps away. Surely go for the save here.
If he gets one, he's going for it. It's Mo. He's known for his clutches. Ah, he's
surely.
All right, Mo, wrap it up.
Yeah.
Pack it up.
We're going home.
Put it in a box, put a stamp on it, and ship it away. That's what KOVA do. They put him to his grave and lock him away. Well, at the same time, kind of weird, throwing a dead body into jail. But either way, let's go. 4-4 KOVA. They've completely switched it around.
I still wish he kind of went for the save there, because even if they had, they would have been able to force buy around it. They, the Marshall could have come out. We see another Vandal picked up too by Chihuahua. They would have had a somewhat decent force buy coming through. And now it's not going to look too comfortable. Potentially a couple of Sheriffs on board. They're going to prioritize utility, but having a double Vandal setup is always going to help things out massively. Now, though, not looking too pretty. Just one Marshall, one Vandal, and a couple of Sheriffs. You can't expect too much from them against this buy of KOVA.
Yeah, the set's Excel way back right now. That's kind of sad. Panic Tech couldn't put that no command to good use earlier on. They do push forwards towards the A main position, as well as KOVA look to do the exact opposite. So a bit of a switcheroo positions. Chihuahua can hear all the commotion, giving the call for his team to arrive, but the cavalry taking its time, really, and it seems like Yasmin also's got that angle covered. It's a bit rough. Ooh, but they're going all the way around. Have they been spotted? Ooh, did he see them?
They've been heard.
Yeah.
Surely.
Ooh, never mind. They're able to catch two off guard, and maybe this is doable. Chihuahua showing his ground. Chihuahua with a kill. Goodness me, that's why you never disrespect Excel's equals. And now it's down to a couple. Sutma looking to do the heavy lifting here, but he's struggling. He really is struggling. No. And it's down to Shed. Oh, and he can't do it. Excel are in this game, they're showing who's boss, and they come away with an eco victory right at the final second.
Oh, and that is down to the wire. Look how little time they had to work with. It was such a small buy to one Marshall, one Vandal, and a couple of Sheriffs, and they've made it work. That is the flank of dreams, though. 3 players rotate their way around in towards the backlines, pushing through main. It's so simple yet so effective. KOVA, that post-plant, may I say, it wasn't deep enough. They were stuck on site. And we spoke about them earlier being tunnel vision, and that was the complete similar scenario of them being tunnel vision, but towards the site. They didn't go aggressive in the post-plant, and they get caught off by the most simple of flanks ever. And that is going to be a big crux. Now we're all tied square once again.
Talk about hurting that.
Yeah.
It's got to be painful.
Triggering too. Mental.
Very much so. All right, Shed.
Okay.
We want to see more of that. Why not? He did take damage though, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh my, he's a lucky boy.
He's a very lucky boy. Thankfully, that was through toxins, therefore he will replenish some of it. Oh, all right. We're looking at a 4v5 here. Excel have lost the player. Obviously, this helps KOVA a lot, but we know they like taking risk with putting them all into one basket, and that's exactly what they're doing. Tunnel control, A-site push. Yes, the Viper's Pit has been placed there from KOVA, but it seems Excel want to contest this with numbers.
Yeah, I like this. I mean, this idea so far from KOVA, slow the tempo down, and it will once again keep them guessing. They've already seen these rotations come from main before, and they might be tempted to go back if it was B, but that's important. Mo gonna find a freebie. Vicious falling now brings the numbers level.
And it's the Viper, right? No
Yep.
more Viper's Pit. Oh, this is magnificent from Excel. Oh, dear.
Wait, he found the guy in the back.
He found Shed!
How?
Oh, the luck.
The
in this
Valorant
round.
gods. They love him. They love him. He's a lucky man.
Oh, Sutma though. Ah, sneaky boy. Ooh, okay, that's a kill. Not much time to work with though.
No.
But that's a massive wraparound. They can stop the rotations, but not when Yasmin falls with the spike. It was all reliant up to him. And Sutma, although you did quite a bit, I'm afraid with 15 seconds to work with, Excel are just going to hide from you.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can do here. Even if he picks up the spike, he won't be able to get to a site in time. Round done. With 2 remaining alive, that's all that XL need to do. Keep hold of your Vandal. You can't find the round in your favor. It's oh so simple, so effective. I mean, we really counted XL out there. I've got to give him the credit. A little bit of fortune in towards main. The shot through the smoke. You take those all day to the bank. But for XL, that's a really important round. I always call kind of around this kind of round 10 area, kind of when you're in the latter part of that first half. It's so important for building an early bit of momentum, try and find that, I guess, slight lead going into the second half. I mean, that kill again, that was such a game changer.
And it kind of felt that KOVA were a little bit reluctant on making the decision on the push.
Yeah. They were hesitant, right? And this is kind of what we said earlier. You know, I like tempo changes when they slow things down. It was a good idea when they had the kind of numbers advantage, but the second they went back to a 4 versus 4 and they had no read on XL, they had to hit the guns and start flooding their way into the site. Missed shot gets punished by Alive. Oh, that you can't miss those. You gotta hit them.
Not in playoffs. Not in playoffs. Although they did get away with those a couple of times, which has caused them to get back into the lead. Let's see how this one works out. Heavy dedication towards this right side here from KOVA. Sutma has been your dedicated lurker. We haven't seen that being switched up too much, so if he's spotted, it could be a read for XL. Moving across tower control, also from Vicious Tunnel, excuse me. Poison Cloud looking to push forwards, actually. Oh, this is interesting. Pattytech gets the first kill, but Foxy is going in for a run. Meanwhile, Mo is just destroying the rest of them, and Foxy's got all the information in the world. The two Vipers are switch positions. The two players left are on that A site, and Pattytech know exactly what's going on. Foxy's just taking them down one by one. Ali will be a difficult beast to handle, but when Chihuahua's there, he'll bite him down to the ground and woof at him. Because that doggy is unrelentless.
I'll give you that one. I think for me, what was so important that round is Yasmin over towards the B site. The lurk was a really nice idea. And if he had found towers control and able to kind of cut off those players and transition back over towards the A site, that's so important. That gives them a free wrap over towards B, which we've seen time and time again. But when he falls, they know it's a committal play over towards the A site. They know they can just flood all the numbers over there and then play the simple numbers game. That's what we see from XL. It's so textbook, but that's all that was necessary from them. I think KOVA, again, a simple thing of them overcomplicating things a bit.
Okay. The Haunt comes in, and Eli's aggression pays dividends. Yasmin had no clue. And that's quickly finding Excel in the advantage. Mo moving forwards as well. They're taking so much space, man. Who's defending? Who's attacking? You tell me. Oh, and that was a semi-buy from KOVA, quickly shut down. This is heartbreaking.
They knew they were coming against, you know, the slightly less firepower in that sort of round, and they made a statement there. So far looking like a comfortable 7 on the board, unless they can somehow turn 2 players against 4 in their favor, and it's going to be a 2-2 stack. No simple one.
Excel's so good at switching up that tempo. Pattytech, though, in charge of this position. And he catches it on time, off guard. Mo finds an other angle to work with, overwhelms the opposition. We're looking at a 7-4 scoreline with 1 round left in the half.
I love that. I mean, they knew they were coming against a slightly lesser buy, and they knew they had the ability to go a little bit more aggressive. KOVA were going to be slightly tentative, and we've seen that be their nature at times. It's a little bit more on the passive side that we talked about, and then being, you know, slightly hesitant to make some decisions, and that was a clear example. They slowed things down in towards mid, and it gave XL way too much room to work with. And when you give XL space, and especially alive too, with a Blaze Storm, he's going to punish you.
Got to remind the viewers of the stakes at hand. This is playoffs, double bracket, KOVA's map pick.
Yeah.
Losing this one is going to be rough.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say. I mean, when you look on paper as well, with these two sides, they've got very similar map pools, but XL's statistically better in all of them. So this is a must-win for them.
Well, we see them taking the aggressive route on this one. No linger in the position, in the decision to push. Yasmin gets a spike down, toxic screen. Well, the snake bite doesn't land exactly where you want it to be. There's a good angle held there by Supermart, handles one, but now could get taken care of. 50 points of health will not be enough to keep him alive as Foxy and Pattytech start to rain bullets towards KOVA. Vicious managed to put hot lead in Chihuahua's heart. But Vicious, oh, what a deadly shot, but it just isn't. Only 1 point of health for Foxy to save for it. Shed will be finishing him off. Shed with another. Your team needs you now more than ever. He's got his blades back. Jet v Jet, 1v1. And there's not much time. Out into the open and live! Goodness me! Brings the clutch home and gives the dub to Excel.
Oh, with 1.6 of a second to work with. Again, another round for Excel where it's the finest of margins, and they've made it work at the half. 8-4 alive. Take a bow, son. That is brilliant. And of course, now we really have to ask a couple of questions about KOVA in a post-plant situation. Yes, they now move on towards the defender side, but for this series as a whole, that is what, the second, third time in a row where it's a round that should be closed out. It should just require them to buy the smallest amount of time. We had 0.84 seconds earlier. Now we have a 1.66 seconds on the clock, and they can't close a round out. That's worrying.
That is worrying. Crazy at the bow time. Depends on which side you're looking at. Talking about sides, KOVA now on the defensive. What do you reckon of the chances here?
I'm concerned, is one way to put it. With this sort of lead as well, it gives XL room to experiment, and that's all they need to do. We said about giving them too much space, and if you do give them space, they'll punish you, and that's a prime example of what we have to keep an eye on here. KOVA, for me, they need to be aggressive.
Well, they won't be too aggressive straight out of the bat. Yes, elbow control, but Excel subside. Breathe in some breezy air. The fancy to go on a stroll, a little bit of a push, aggression from Alive being the front man in this push. Vicious has telegraphed it, holding back, but won't hold back on the trigger. Pulls his shots, and that is paying dividends for Excel. Realize where he's at and are able to take him down quickly, trading through though. Ali wants to be in this fight as quickly as possible, but still it's trading favorably for Excel. Yasmin is low. That could be damaging. Excel are rotating towards that B site. Well, Alive gets shut down by Ali. It means this is all down to the lone Mara.
I mean, when you look at this round, numbers favor KOVA, but the HP doesn't. Yasmin, just the smallest of margins for him to work with. And I mean, Arle's not looking too pretty himself. It's all about trying to isolate these fights in the 1 versus 2, and it's also slow. For the time being, there's the first as well. Not too shabby at all. Looking to try and make it another. It's just down to Arle. Does he have it in the locker, though? In the 1 versus 1, he hasn't been spotted. It's a freebie, and Mo, brilliant 1 versus 2, and he steps up proudly. Excel, pistol under the belt, 9-4. And you might be starting to say this could be those nails starting to be just hammered into that coffin.
You could say that. You could say that, Neo. The clutch factor. The analyst desk did say and talk about this earlier on. And this is a good reason. Right, Excel are so damn good. All of these individuals, Mo, Chihuahua, Foxy, Patty Tech, can't exclude Alive from that at all. They're also good in clutches. Also good, and we just saw that again.
I'm impressed, I really am. I mean, now, of course, for KOVA, they have to try and change this tempo just a little bit. They're trying to get a bit aggressive in towards main, testing the waters. Hang on a second, Charlie needs to be careful.
Yeah, he does. Yasmin has been left alone towards the B site. They're looking ahead over. Vicious aggressing, and he's able to find one. That could be a weapon. Unless Alive can do something about it. He does, and he gets away in style. He gets another one as well. All right. We see you, Excel. You don't want to make this two-sided at all. This is a one-team journey right here. Ali and Vicious. There's a Vandal in their hands, the best weapon in the game in this server currently. And he's able to make it work on the first instance, which is why we're not giving up on KOVA just yet. So many angles to work with, and the time is just dwindling at this point. Zero command just sent right after him. Yeah, this is impossible at this point. They've left it. They've left it too long. Ali may be able to catch off some rotations. Yes, he does. And might be able to find a weapon as well to save. And there you go. Excel on 10, but only a survivor per side.
Do you know what? I think, to be perfectly honest, KOVA will take that. When you think of the buy they had coming in towards round number 14, it really wasn't anything too pretty. It was just essentially an eco. You lose a pistol, you don't have too much economy to work with. And for them to find 4 out of 5 kills and be coming in towards round number 15 with a Vandal in hand, really is not too shabby at all. Now we look towards the likes of Excel. Yes, they've just won the opening 2 rounds in this half, but they do only survive with 1, just out of a Bulldog. So the buy is going to be slightly dicey on their end, and of course you're looking towards KOVA, it's going to be very healthy, and that's what we see. Spectre coming through to support the Bulldog, a couple of Vandals, but utility lacking ever so slightly. This is really looking like for KOVA, it could be nice and comfortable, and there it is, General double.
Shed just runs away with 2, and he runs away with his life as well. He's got reinforcements. Yasmin is there to cover his back. This is perfect. Coordination by Excel. By KOVA, excuse me. From KOVA.
I get you, I get you.
Me. The rest of the U's get me as well.
Okay.
Well, I can't quite grasp that kill, though. It's down to Foxy. It's down to the IGL right now. He's switched up. He's the new IGL in town, the new controller. Obviously, Aussie being the one doing that heavy lifting that previous season.
I guess you could say as well, for this sort of round, it was, you know, on paper, technically a bonus, but it's not, because they had only 1 player remaining alive, so they technically fully invested into that, when it should have been generally seen as a bonus round for them, just kind of going against the full buy, bringing up whatever you can. That was a pretty hefty investment, which leaves them, once again, coming towards the next round in a similar scenario they were just in, where the buy is going to be very middling. They can pick up Vandals, but at the same time, it'll be a little bit all over the place in terms of maybe half armor, lacking utility. So a similar situation where for KOVA, they come in as, on paper, the favorites in round number 16 in terms of firepower alone.
Well, this firepower managed to get them across that finishing line, though.
Do you believe?
I don't. I'm going to be honest. Straight out of the bat, I mean, there's no hiding and no beating around that bush. You know, we're looking at an Excel who managed to win their previous eco, right? So let's see if they're able to do it again. Superman with a good angle is quickly traded. That is a classic, getting the kill, and the A site fully open.
Free gun, by the way, and looking pretty good so far. The question is now, what can they do in a post plan?
They got the spike down at least, without any problems. And that free gun goes to the hands of Patty Tech.
And how do KOVA make their way back in here? I mean, they've got so little information to go off. The Eldra are going to try and find a little bit of something. Chihuahua going for a little search too in a post-one. I like this.
Well, there's not much utility on the controller side for KOVA. But for Foxy, he can rely on those snake bites to delay the defusal. You can see him already setting up for those positions. Looking to wrap around here. Chihuahua. PattyTech looking to defend his teammate, maybe pushing even further. That's the lineup starting to pay dividends, but they're starting to miss their shots. And the diffuser may come through!
No.
Oh, it's down to Foxy. It's diffused halfway. There's so much damage being thrown at him, but no, they will recover. And because they diffused it halfway, they've got plenty of time to get that down as well.
My God, that one got a little bit close for comfort. That frenzy at range causing a couple of issues. I got worried, but the classic meat shield comes there in the 2 versus 1, so it makes things all the more doable. Up to a 10-6. Only a 4-round deficit. There's a world extra where this maybe potentially goes the full distance. I mean, I think me personally coming in towards this half, especially when XL picked up the pistol, in my mind I was like, yeah, this was done, isn't it, really? It was looking like a GG from map number 1, but KOVA is starting to find their form. They're starting to find an idea of how XL like to play their attacking side. I'm not going to fully count them out yet. I mean, I'm still, I think it's unlikely.
Right. You're a fan of parallel universes where anything is possible.
It's not impossible, but it's improbable.
I like that.
Yeah, you like that one? Oh, yeah. Kept that one in a locker just for you, mate.
Thank you. Okay. Keeping that awkward silence out of there. Let's see how this one works out. Excel playing with a deficit. They're looking to move up in mid, and maybe for good reason. That toxic screen doing wonders for them. Viper's Pit disabling the push from the main angle. There's only 2 defenders here. They'll be calling in for reinforcements quickly. They've got the least amount of players here, and Excel have got the perfect read. Superma dies, and now they may want to go in for more. A 4-on-4, but Vicious is lurking in the shadows, and he'll interrupt the spike. We're still looking at a 3-on-4. This is close, and the rotations have now come in. Vicious is such a sneaky man. Oh, and he spotted out PattyTech, still being traded out. This is so close, Neo. A 2-on-2, and there's even movement coming in from Ali from mid. He's joining this fray quicker than ever. And the spike is in no man's land. Shed is holding that angle. Oh, it's touched. Oh, Alive is holding this angle. He's actually pushed up. That's going to catch Ali off guard. It's down to Shed. Oh, that's the kill! And he hides away. 11 points of health.
No.
No way, right?
No, surely. You can't get away with this, Shed. 11 points.
All right, Mo. You've got to get the perfect read here. It's all the pressure onto Shed. He's the one that has to get the defuse. Oh, no. That distracts him, and Mo peeks out in time. He's not going to lose the clutch.
He knew all too well.
11-6 for Excel.
He knew all too well. That's textbook. That's how you play with a fade. I mean, that is brilliant. Once again, though, I mean, really credit to Shed for making something of that. I completely countered KOVA out in that retake, and he brings it all the way down, especially to that pick out of the air as well. That is, you know, that's something special. You can take a bow of that one individually, put it in the highlight reel, but either way, when it comes to a post-1 situation, XL was showing KOVA how it's meant to be done here. They're really showing them how to set up that kind of slightly aggressive post-plant. I mean, yeah, that is something special, isn't it? But it's that aggro post-plant I really do like from XL, which KOVA struggled in. And we saw it a couple of times where clutches came through from XL on the defender side, which they really shouldn't have been able to do. The same mistakes aren't being made here.
Ali's powerless. Vicious as well. Can't use their utility, which means a free entry into this A site. And there's so many KOVA players near. But oh, Chihuahua. We know him as a Lurkmeister, but not right now. Shed has put him to it. It's an early Grey. Vicious once more. It's still traded evenly. Alive goes in. Alive goes bloody in. And he gets all of them. Every single one of them. Only Shed remains.
Oh, Alive. This is brilliant. Now down to Shed. We speak about the Jet diff, and this one is looking oh too prevalent right now. Shed has to do something monumental when he finds Alive. Now there's a world in which this works.
Shed. Isolating them is key. Oh, Foxy's got an operator, and he's got his sights on the spike as well. If he's got his sights onto this cross. Oh, yeah, he's not going to miss that.
No.
Excel on map points.
That was close. That was close.
Imagine.
Oh, that is going in the end of season highlight as the first clip to make it.
Yeah,
I mean, that
it's the highlight of the year if that connects.
My God, that would have been something ridiculous. And of course, kind of the storyline around it, them being such the heavy underdogs coming in towards this series.
Seed out of the 14 to play.
Exactly. And they're even a team who, you know, if you looked in towards this season at the very, very start, if you asked all of us as casters who's making the top 4, I feel like a lot of us might not even have put them there, or if they did, it would have been a fringe kind of team,
for sure.
right? So, I mean, for them to even be at this stage, got to give them credit, and that was nearly very special. Now, Blaze-Storm popped alive, potential to find a freebie here. Don't overextend, though.
Oh, alive. He's got himself into his Cloudburst, so looking to push even further. Hunter's Fury enabled on the defensive side, but alive! Loves himself some blades! Oh, he's so accurate with throwing them! Oh, if he would have got on that one, but it's Palitek that stole it in the end. But I think you can call this a wrap, because Excel have just got a fajita, start putting in the filling.
Cheese on top.
Cheese on top.
Salsa,
start
guac.
to melt, and they wrap it up. Ooh! It seems that some fillings are spilling out of the wrap, though.
Overfilling it.
Overfilling it too much, perhaps. How tightly can they wrap it up, though? Shed and Vicious are being quite obnoxious right now. But all of the chances are not in their favor. Yeah, Chihuahua's got it there. Shed, oh, come on.
Time.
Can he hold it on for his team? He cannot. Palitek, that's the end of Shed's life. And Excel, 13-6 to close down Breeze.
Wrapped it up indeed. Maybe a little bit of the stuffing filling out. But you know what? They walk away 13-6, the first map. And we said how important it is for KOVA to be taking this win on their own map. Unfortunately, however, MP, that was not the case.
Yeah, I think at the start, KOVA had a good idea. They had a new composition, obviously gonna surprise Excel a little bit. But this is literally how Excel does and plays the game. They read what the enemy does, and 4 rounds, yeah, KOVA won those in first 7 rounds, but after that, there was no round found on that side. Yeah, you had 6 rounds in total, and I said on the green room, I think Excel is gonna give only 2 rounds for KOVA after this, because it started to look like they're gonna start snowballing. The firepower that Excel has came online.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about KOVA coming in with a spice composition. Excel were running not the Sova, but the Fade, and we got to see Mo, the Clutchmeister, really getting to use those Fade utilities. The fact that you can have that Haunt gives you a little bit of time, even if it doesn't necessarily get that Terror Trail to attach onto the ankle, it buys you a distraction. And it does mean that you have that opportunity to be able to shoot your opponent. Well, they're not actually looking for you, and that was something that Mo was actually being able to really use in those 1v1s, but also with the Prowlers coming in, setting alive ups for some of these amazing plays, where you can just go in with the ultimate off of the back of those Prowlers, getting the information, knowing where you need to be looking.
Yeah, absolutely, and I love the thing that Excel did a little bit, that Mo can't really do with Sova. He played alone. I think there was one of these rounds that Mo was distracting the Viper in the Viper's pit on B lobby, and whole rest of the team went around from mid behind that Viper's pit, obviously using their own Viper pit. It didn't quite end well with the Viper pit, but in the end, Excel was managing to get that round. And I think it's all because Mo has that freedom with that Fade. I think it's reliant more on yourself than compared to Sova. On Sova, I think you have to have one player securing you, especially when you are going for the drone, because you can be easily pushed out.
Yeah, we highlighted Ali and Shed as the 2 players from KOVA that we should really be keeping our eyes out. They even said that they're going to be relying on comfort, going for those double duelists themselves. However, Moxie, they're not the ones who are going to be walking away with the MVP. It's actually Vicious on the Viper that has found the most utility this game.
Yeah, and I mean, you think about how Excel were trying to play really aggressive, really fast, going for a lot of space control very early on into these rounds. The Viper was really instrumental in trying to shut that down, using that toxin screen to not give away the information, punish the fact that you're running that Fade, so you're not going to have the Sova recon bolt to go through the toxin screen and tell you, ping out how many players are actually there. And we saw sometimes Excel was finding a lot of value with those early pushes out from mid, but other times when they didn't have that information, when they didn't know exactly what was on the other side, they were getting punished.
Yeah, and we have a replay as well available of that Viper pit specifically coming off from Vicious that has made it just that much more difficult for Excel to do their thing.
Yeah, the Viper pit is right here in B main, but look at how Excel plays around it. They calculate that there might be more on A side, and there is 3 players stacked. B side is more free. Palitek coming in with a good kill. Obviously, it doesn't really go as planned. Excel has some struggles right there, but the mid-round call that Foxy made right there to go on B side, even though the Viper speed is there, managed them to win this round. Obviously, on a 1v1, it was 2v2 before as well. Shed just so low HP, but it's Mo there. What do you expect?
Yeah.
you're obviously gonna clutch that. I think Mo actually had 2 situations where he clutched it. It was the second half pistol round as well. And that was the one thing that I was questioning. Obviously, yeah, Mo, he has this amazing potential on clutching, but is he really needed in this roster? Because, or obviously he's needed in the roster, but in those clutch situations, are they gonna even get those clutch situations? And yeah, they did. And Mo, not surprisingly, did so well there.
Yeah, ice in his veins. This man does not crumble under the pressure at all whatsoever. Just clutch after clutch, and we highlighted him as well as an individual player. But KOVA, they can't crumble now either. There's a lot of pressure on them again because they lose their own map pick. We're going to be heading to Icebox, Moxie. Are you worried that if they come out with this playstyle again, one of those maps where teams do feel comfortable playing Reyna, could it come back to bite them?
Yeah, it's going to be a harder one for KOVA, I think, to recover. Not just the fact that they lost their own map pick, but that they were getting steamrolled in the early starts of these rounds. And Icebox is one of those where you really do have to have full control as soon as these rounds begin, whether it's something like the Jet or the Reyna or the Chamber. If you're not able to anchor onto these sites, if you're not able to hold off these attackers from just moving forward and getting that spike down, it becomes really hard to unseat them with the changes that we've seen come through onto yellow.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I love from Shed, he was picking more and more of that operator, and I think that was really tough situation for KOVA when they didn't really have that operator that much. But I think I really like how Shed was picking it up. I hope the same thing happens in the Icebox.
Yeah, we're going to be heading to Icebox next, but before we do so, we're going to take a small break just so we can get ourselves together, and we'll be back shortly.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy.
Overtime it was a brawl and yeah, we did some last second go plant the bomb calls and time ran out and I just jumped in bed crying, man. I think that would have changed a lot if we won that game actually. So
yeah.
Instead they got the free ride, so you know it is what it is. That's why we're still trying to get that championship title so we can erase that one, you know.
I think being open-minded is a key part of improving as a player, because this game is ever-changing, right? If you're locked in one way of playing, one way of thinking about the game, then I think you will not come far.
Something very important to going pro is learning to improve, because it's not as simple as just playing ranked and grinding the game. That's like you will get far, but you want to get to the top. Like Saida said, it's very important that you learn to talk as a team.
Me, 100%. Back when I used IGL, I forgot it every round. I would always forget either armor, my shotgun, everything, every round.
Intentional throwing. Yeah. Nah, I mean it's not intentional throwing, it's more of a check out and doesn't want to play anymore.
Yeah.
We had our old teammate John, he used to have all sorts of issues with his PC, but other than that, we're usually fine.